On a packed subway train, a university student named Ji-ho talks to his mom on the phone on his way home from class. He reassures her that he's doing well and mentions that if the strange occurrences persist, he might move back to his hometown to stay with his uncle. Nearby, a few classmates whisper and tease him, spreading rumors that Ji-ho can see spirits. As their laughter fades, he notices a faint figure of a girl standing silently in the train car. No one else seems to notice her. The sight leaves Ji-ho visibly shaken. Seeing spirits isn't new for Ji-ho. He's had this ability since childhood. Later, he calls his uncle, Mr. Kong, explaining that he wants to return home for a while. Mr. Kong agrees, but before Ji-ho leaves the city, he asks whether Ji-ho still carries the old locket given to him by his great-grandfather, the same antique locket that mysteriously spun on a train years ago. It has a strange property. It rotates whenever a spirit is near. Back in his hometown, Ji-ho re-enrolls at his former school, but instead of finding comfort, he encounters trouble. A group of bullies relentlessly targets weaker students, and Ji-ho becomes one of their victims. A girl named Hannah starts showing interest in him, irritating her possessive boyfriend, Dae-min. One afternoon, while in class, Ji-ho senses a presence and turns to see the spirit of a masked girl standing outside the window. Later, one of the bullies corners Ji-ho and warns him to stay away from any girls, also asking if he still remembers the incident involving Sola. The story shifts to a female member of the bullying group. After school, she returns home and notices a plastic bag hanging from the ceiling. Curious, she opens it, only for dark red liquid to spill over her. Terrified, she tries calling her friends, but no one answers. Suddenly, the masked girl's spirit appears, the same one Ji-ho saw. Soon after, Ji-ho spends time with a girl named Yuri, though no one else can see her. Yuri is a spirit, who urges him to stop staying silent and stand up to Dae-min and his gang. A sudden gust of wind sweeps through the hallway. Yuri stiffens and warns him that the masked spirit is nearby before vanishing. Meanwhile, the masked girl abducts one of Hannah's friends, dragging her into an empty storage room and tying her up before ending her life. One day, as Ji-ho walks with Yuri, he tells her about Sol-ah, his childhood friend who died mysteriously years ago. Soon, Sol-ah's spirit appears, begging him to reveal her killer. She even points toward the culprit, but Ji-ho remains silent, fearing the consequences. He later confides in Yuri that he returned home because he feels Sol-ah's spirit is still waiting for him. Ji-ho visits Sol-ah's father, who warmly welcomes him, touched that his daughter is still remembered. As Ji-ho leaves, Sol-ah's spirit waves goodbye, and for the first time, he feels a small sense of peace. Over time, Ji-ho and Yuri grow closer. He teaches her how to warm her hands like humans do, though she cannot truly feel the heat. Despite being a spirit, they share quiet, meaningful moments together. Back at school, Hannah suddenly slaps a boy without warning. Ji-ho steps in, telling her to stop. Dae-min moves to attack him, but Hannah unexpectedly restrains her boyfriend. That night, while sketching Yuri's portrait, she playfully appears and disappears around the room. Ji-ho senses her presence but cannot pinpoint her exact location. Unbeknownst to him, she watches him curiously from inside his wardrobe as he changes. Later, Ji-ho watches the news with his uncle. A 10-year-old murder case has finally been solved. The suspect is shown wearing a mask. Ji-ho instantly recalls the masked spirit haunting his school. One household spirit reveals that the masked girl's name is Era. Mr. Kong tries to question her spirit about her anger, but she only repeats her name. One night, two members of the bullying gang sneak into the school to retrieve a confiscated phone. After entering a classroom, they joke around. The girl heads to the restroom, leaving the boy alone. Moments later, he is violently attacked by the masked spirit. In the restroom, the girl hears loud thuds but assumes it's her friend playing around. When she returns, the classroom is empty. As she turns to leave, she finds the boy's lifeless body placed before her. Before she can scream, the masked girl appears again. The next day, Ji-ho tries asking classmates about Era, but fear keeps them silent. No one dares speak against the bullying gang. As spirits continue to gather around him, Jiho realizes that the past he tried to ignore refuses to stay buried. At school, when one student tries to speak up about Era, Hannah shoots her a sharp, warning glance, silently ordering her to stay quiet. Later, while Jiho and Yuri enjoy a quiet moment by the riverside, Jiho receives a message from the same girl who had tried to defend him earlier. The message contains an old photo of Era and a stern warning not to dig further into her past. When Jiho asks Yuri about Era, she explains that no one questioned her death because everyone assumed they already knew what had happened. After investigating in secret, Jiho uncovers the shocking truth. Hannah and her group were directly responsible for Era's suffering. Furious, he confronts Dae-min, ambushing him from behind. But Dae-min overpowers Jiho and beats him mercilessly. Through the pain, Jiho shouts that they are responsible for Era's death. Hannah freezes, visibly shaken. As Dae-min continues his assault, Jiho warns them that Era's spirit will never forgive what they did. Fear begins to take root in Hannah's mind. She shows Dae-min an old photo of Era's father and reminds him that several of their friends have mysteriously disappeared. They convince themselves that Era's father must be exacting revenge. Determined to confront the threat, they decide to go to Era's house. Hannah suggests contacting Jiho for backup, but Dae-min angrily refuses. Still, once they arrive at Era's house, Hannah secretly messages Jiho, letting him know they're about to enter. Reading the message, Jiho immediately informs his uncle, Mr. Kong. Sensing danger, Mr. Kong hands him the protective spinning locket and allows him to leave. Inside the darkened house, Dae-min and Hannah hear heavy thumping coming from a large wooden box. Panic sets in. Dae-min swings wildly at the air, while Hannah sees disturbing flashes of Era's face. Moments later, Era's spirit appears before them. Suddenly, Era's father bursts out from behind the box, violently striking Dae-min. By the time Jiho arrives, he can't immediately find them. But he hears Hannah screaming in terror. Era's father approaches her. She collapses, sobbing and begging for forgiveness for everything they did to Era. But his fury is relentless. He strikes her down as well. Hearing her final scream, Jiho rushes forward. Era's father walks past him silently, leaving the house. Steeling himself, Jiho steps inside. The sight is horrifying. Members of the bullying gang lie motionless across the room. His attention shifts to the half-open wooden box. Slowly, he walks over and lifts the lid. Inside is a girl wearing a mask. With trembling hands, he removes it and freezes. The girl is Yuri. The story shifts into flashbacks. Years earlier, Era had reported Hannah's bullying to the head teacher. Hannah was publicly scolded and humiliated. Furious, she went through Era's notebooks, comparing handwriting to the anonymous complaint letter. Once she confirmed Era was responsible, her rage erupted. From that day forward, Hannah and her group tormented Era relentlessly. They beat her, pulled her hair, and forced a mask onto her face to silence her. When teachers questioned Era, she remained quiet. Other students pretended not to notice. At home, Era broke down in tears. Her father urged her to report the abuse again, but she insisted the teachers wouldn't care. Overwhelmed and isolated, Era eventually took her own life. Back in the present, Jiho searches the house and finds a diary. Inside is a list of names, all the students involved in tormenting Era. Each name is crossed out. All except one, the head teacher. Realizing what will happen next, Jiho calls Mr. Kong and asks him to come to Era's house to perform proper rites and calm her spirit. Without hesitation, Jiho races toward the school. The head teacher is still inside, and Era's unfinished revenge is about to reach its final target. Late that night at the school, the head teacher, Ms. Choi, sits alone in her office, working on her computer. As she stares at the screen, a faint reflection flickers behind her. It's Era's spirit. Before she can turn around, the scene cuts abruptly. Moments later, every student receives the same anonymous message. Gather in the library immediately. Uneasy and confused, they slowly make their way there. Jiho arrives and asks about Miss Choi, but no one has seen her. The air feels thick, heavy with tension. Then suddenly, the library lights cut out. Darkness swallows the room. In the shadows, Era appears, but she wears the teacher's face. Without a word, she hurls a metal container across the floor. The sharp smell of gasoline fills the air. Then, Era reveals her true form. Her cold, burning eyes scan the students as she reminds them of their silence, the way they watched her being bullied, the cruelty they ignored, the moments they chose to turn away. Now, her gaze seems to say, "You will feel what I felt." Ji-ho pushes through the crowd, begging her to stop. But Era flicks a lighter open. Just as she tosses it toward the spilled gasoline, a hand catches it midair. It's Yuri, the gentle side of Era's spirit. The two spirits face each other. Era's darker half, fueled by rage, mocks Yuri's kindness, reminding her of every slap, every jeer, every cruel moment she endured. She declares she is no longer weak. With a surge of force, the vengeful Era shoves Yuri aside, taking full control of Ms. Choi's body. Shelves collapse, windows crack, and students scream in terror. Ji-ho grips his spinning locket tightly. It begins to spin violently, reacting to the overwhelming spiritual presence. He scans the room carefully. When the locket spins intensely near one trembling girl, he approaches and presses an old notebook into her hands. Suddenly, memories rush back. Flashbacks reveal that Ji-ho and Era were childhood friends. Years ago, Era had protected him from bullies. They shared innocent smiles, quiet promises, and the drawing Ji-ho once made of her still remains inside his notebook. Tears fill his eyes as he apologizes, to Yuri, to Era, for not recognizing her sooner. Yuri gently reaches toward him, trying to hand back the lighter so he can end the chaos safely. But Era's vengeful side resists. At that exact moment, far away at Era's house, Mr. Kong completes the spiritual ritual intended to calm her soul. Back in the library, the small ceremonial knife in Ji-ho's pocket glows faintly. Understanding what must be done, Yuri takes the knife. With one final, peaceful look at Ji-ho, she turns it on herself. As she fades, memories flash. Her laughter by the riverside, the warmth of their shared moments, the drawing in his notebook, the bond they once shared as children. Era's raging spirit weakens. The darkness dissolves. The fire never ignites. Silence fills the library. In the aftermath, students gather quietly at Era's grave. Flowers are placed gently before her photo. Regret hangs heavy in the air. Time passes. Ji-ho eventually returns to the same school, this time as a teacher. One afternoon, during class, he notices a faint figure sitting at the last desk by the window. When he asks about the seat, a student replies that a girl used to sit there but recently transferred schools. Slowly, the faint spirit stands and walks toward him. Ji-ho does not look afraid. His spinning locket rests calmly against his chest. The story ends with him gazing quietly forward, leaving the question unresolved. Has Era truly found peace? Or will Ji-ho always remain connected to the world of spirits?